come to Nigeria to observe an election where you have over 176,000 polling units at election centers, and then they go to less than 1,000 polling units at election centers, and they draw conclusions.
The election was fair and fair, and we stand by it, and we stand to defend the mandate. The European Union conclusion about fraudulent election does not arise at all, is unwarranted. And we believe also that it is orchestrated by the detractors of Nigeria's democracy.
Hello and welcome to the Happy Hour TV, where we bring you trending and exciting news. How are you doing today? I am Cece. Now, this is the news coming from the political scene. The European Union (EU) in Abuja was besieged on Thursday, July 6th, by a group known as the Coalition of Civil Society Organization and Political Parties for Good Governance. Wow, that's quite a long name. CCSOPPGG. They are claiming to be a pro-democracy group. Now, the protesters asked the European Union to withdraw its report on the 2023 presidential elections immediately, as it was capable of setting the country on fire. Or so they insinuated, though. They held up their placards warning the EU not to ignite war in Nigeria through the quote-unquote biased report on the victory. You may recall that the EU had in its report stated that the 2023 elections were marred by non-transparency, violence, killing and vote buying. They also accused the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) of reneging on some of its promises made to voters before the election was held. Addressing the officials of the EU who attended to the protesters, the convener of the group, Lilian Enogboli, said, "How on earth can just less than 50 people from the European Union come to Nigeria to observe an election where you have over 176,000 polling units, and then they go to less than 1,000 polling units of the election centers and they draw their conclusions?" She further said that they were there with thousands of patriotic Nigerians who had come specifically to raise concern about the presentation on the reports of the European Union concerning the just concluded elections. Further speaking, she said they had come to register unequivocally, they were not satisfied with the report of the European Union as a matter of fact, and they also felt that the report was not just ridiculous but a deliberate act to the Nigerian entity and, of course, by implication, the leaders and the government of Nigeria. Further speaking, she said Nigerians were there, at least a faction of Nigerians, and they were here during the just concluded election.
You will also agree with me that the report of the European Union is enough to trigger a national problem. It's enough to trigger national chaos. Our security is at stake. Our security of lives and property is at stake. Our sovereignty is at stake. Our unity is at stake. Nigeria is the greatest country in Africa, the most populated country in Africa, and of course the pride of the African continent. If the European Union is beginning to address our elections and of course whatever is daring, the way they have presented this report, then we are scared. We are scared that it's not just going to affect Nigeria as a country, it's going to affect the whole of the African continent. How on earth can just less than 50 people from the European Union come to Nigeria to observe an election where you have over 176,000 polling units at election centers, and then they go to less than 1,000 polling units at election centers, and they draw conclusions?
In her words, I would like to say to you very clearly that there is no way election in the world that is devoid of crisis and hitches. Every election in the world, both in the United States of America, in the Great Britain, Ireland, and even the European Union countries. Yes, we are aware that the world is a global village. Therefore, people from different parts of the world converge in different countries during elections to monitor, observe, and make presentations. The protesters, who were seen with several placards carrying different inscriptions, marched through the central area to the European Union's headquarters in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The peaceful march terminated at the headquarters of the EU, where leaders of the group addressed officials of the Union, and with a promise from the EU official to relay the message of the protesters to the Union, the group took their leave. Also, the federal government on Sunday rejected the EU's report on 2023 general elections, describing the conclusions of the EU Electoral Observer Mission as quote-unquote jaundiced. According to Dele Alake, the special advisor to the president, "We urge the EU and other foreign interests to be objective in all of the assessments of the internal affairs of our country and allow Nigeria to breathe." End of quote. Since the EU reports did not favor the pro-Tinubu supporters, they have gone to protest, right? And I don't even understand the aim of the protest. The EU observers were asked about their candid opinion on the presidential elections, and they simply spoke about what they saw. So where exactly is the lie here? Anyways, that's it for now. Stay tuned into the Happy Hour TV for more trending news. And remember to hit the notification button so you'll be notified when there's a new breaking story. Bye for now.